cards. I love cards. Cards are great. My dad also loves cards, and that's why my dad and I are getting back into collecting sports cards, because ever since I came across a video back from 1992 that my dad filmed for future me to watch, of him going through his card collection, it reminded me of myself. And as I'm watching it, I'm just like, I would love it if my dad and I could go card shopping. So that's what we do. Every Tuesday, we go to our local LCS and we dig through the dollar bin, $1 to $9 cards, and we pick out like 15 to 30 bucks worth of cards and put them in a book and talk about them and talk about sports and try to compete with each other on who got the best stack of the day. And it's an amazing father-son bonding time that I absolutely adore. I love spending time with my dad in this way. It doesn't make me emotional yet, but it's something that I've wanted to do when I lived in North Carolina and I saw that tape. And I was like, God, if I could just do it once, it'd be amazing. And I've gotten to do it multiple times now. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys my card collection today. This is my sports cards. We'll do Pokemon next. My dad and I only do sports cards together. He's not a racing fan. He's been buying racing cards. I think that's hilarious. So yeah, let's go through this. I have mine in a binder setup like this because, number one, I like the way the book looks. And I can see my cards and all stuff. So I do have every card is in a penny sleeve and slid into there because once I realized that would work, I was like, that's perfect. And obviously we have our rookie cards. We got our Joe Burrow, our CJ Stroud, our Tuas. But then I also have Cooper DeJean because I like the video, the meme. I think it's hilarious. Cooper DeJean is not a safety. That one, it's hilarious. I also love picking up cheap autographs. My dad bought this for my birthday for me as Vinny Testaverde auto. It was like $3, and it's out of 90. It's 53 out of 99. I thought that was cool. Rashard Mendenhall, Austin Mack. That's a 101, but it is from Leaf or Pro Set or something like that. I don't remember, but let's try to get the whole book into frame so everybody can see what's there. I have them separated by sport, and I feel like that's what helps too. Got our Derrick Henry out of $2.99, a Mike Williams auto, a Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got a Bomb Squad. I thought these were a cool insert, but then it's Ricky Pearsall, and I'm like, well, what the hell does it matter? I do have a Josh Allen rookie, although it is hit. That's Albert Whining out there. He's fine. Micah Parsons rookie, CJ Stroud rookie, Jared Goff Abracadabra. That one is numbered. I don't remember to how much. Jaden Daniels rookie. So basically picking up all the good rookies, or at least rookies of the good players of today. We have our Anthony Gould autos, I also love the lazy autographs. That's one of my favorite things, is a lazy autograph. A good old lazy autograph. Just a line, and that's it. It's hilarious. You'll see a few of them. Sauce Gardner, we got another Cooper DeJean, got a Jalen Hurts. This one's 36 of 50. It's out of $9.99. And then a Baker Mayfield rookie. Now that one's just like kind of lame. But then you see this one, and you're like, oh, well, there it is. You know, we have a Lamar Jackson and a Baker Mayfield rookie. Najee Harris auto, Hakeem Butler auto, CJ Spiller auto. That one was a very expensive card at one point. It was like $150 at one point. It was like years ago, but then obviously CJ Spiller never panned out, so there was that. Carson Wentz rookie. We also have an Arch Manning rated prospect. I picked up an Arch Manning because why not? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't pan out because this season's been pretty disappointing for some people for him, but it's just fun to have. There's a Dak Prescott out of 25. There's one out of 75, but that one's like Wilson Jr. I don't remember. Dylan Johnson auto. There we go. Our first lazy auto. Kendre Miller, rated rookie. That's fun. Joe Mixon rookie. Joe Burrow rookie. We got a Xavier Worthy. We got a Troy Aikman rookie. A Sony Michel auto. That's fun. I don't pick up patch cards that often unless it's a player that I know, or has a sick patch. Like this is a multicolored patch. That's pretty cool. You have a tiny little line of light blue, dark blue, and white, and then the auto is really nice too. We got a Matt Schaub rookie, and that's because I recognized his name. A lazy auto, Kelvin Benjamin, that's pretty fun. I do love these inverse cards too. They're pretty hard to find from what I've been told. I just like the way they look. 101 pre-pro proof, those are usually, in a top loader, but I put them in my book, why not? And then 3 more Joe Burrow rookies. This was my original set. I bought this back in like 2007 when it came out at Target. So I found them again. I've had them all these years, even when I wasn't collecting cards, because my dad was like, no, hold on to them. They might be worth something. And, we got an Adrian Peterson, we got a Steve Smith, Patrick Willis, Joe Thompson, Greg Olson, Calvin Johnson, Marshawn Lynch, rookie. Why not? Those are the best ones of that set. I had the entire set, and I only kept the rookies. So there was that. Gerald Riggs, I bought that one for like $2. Thought that was pretty interesting. Evan Prater. Dallas Baker, he used to be a name. There's another lazy auto right there. Corey Grant. Grant Wells, this is a 3 of 4. Allie Highsmith, he was a name at one point. Jameis Winston, rookie. I do love Jameis Winston. Same way I think I love Teddy Bridgewater, just because I like the journeyman quarterbacks. Mike Evans, rookie. And a Chop Robinson, that's my most recent ad. It was only like $2. I showed it to my dad. I'm like, oh, it's Chop Robinson. He's like, yeah, it's Chop Robinson. Pretty cool. So there's football. Basketball is not going to be as big because there's not as many options for autos when it comes to basketball. You're ending up with I do like picking up cheap autos just because it's cool to have a bunch of a binder full of autographs. I think that's pretty neat. But I do have my Roy Hibbert, my Zach Randolph, Spencer Dinwiddie, and then obviously my Wembanyama rookie. Why not? And then we got a Bogdan. That's pretty fun. And then this is a bookended 75 of 75. WWE is only about almost at one page. We got 2 matte relics. We have a shirt relic, which are stupid. Sorry, I've got allergies so far. It's that time of year where allergies kick in. But yeah, shirt relic. Who cares? Oh, a ring-worn shirt relic. That could be anything. It's like any other card you get. Norman Smiley auto, Blair Davenport. Wrestling autographs are pretty expensive. You're not going to find a cheap $5 auto. This was a $3 auto. This was $11. So it's just it's weird because, you have to you have to keep your eyes peeled for it. And then I'd pick up numbered cards too. A Lash Legend of Wesley were both $1. These were like $2. This was like $2. This was $4 or something like that. And this was 11. Just weird. Hockey, TJ Oshie, and Joe Pavelski. It's hard to find hockey autos, and for a while, Cooley Cards, which is their local LCS and their new Wausau location, those were the only 2 hockey autos they put out, and I'm like, those are 2 decent names in hockey, and they're less than $5. Man, that was pretty cool. Here's my bread and butter, NASCAR. I've been collecting cards for NASCAR for a few years. Obviously cheap autos and stuff like that. We got our, I don't know why it's been moving, but Hemrick. I've been trying to get one of each year from Scott Wimmer, but it's been a slower process than anything. I do like the Obscure Series autos too. That's pretty neat. I do have 2 printing plates, and then almost an entire page of Brad Smith, because at one point they were like $3 each. Thought that was really funny. Chris Buescher, Marcus Ambrose, golly, excuse me. Matt Crafton, got a Cameron Haley, got a Corey LaJoy, Brennan Poole, Colin Cabry. I have the brothers, so that's pretty neat. And these are numbered, fire suit, tire, sheet metal, triple hat, Scott Wimmer, which I haven't seen one since. But then again, it is out of 160, so it is pretty hard to find. Kenny Irwin, this was an $8 auto from Cooley. I picked it out of the box, and I'm like, okay, you're coming home with me immediately. Buddy Baker fire suit, which is pretty neat, out of 99. I love it when they put out NASCAR stuff. I think that's really neat. Junior Miller, Todd Zegedy. Now, you remember the Tropicana Orange? If you're a NASCAR fan, the Tropicana Orange broke free from its restraints in Chicagoland qualifying. He was on track when that happened. Kevin LePage, Dennis Setzer, Bobby Allison, he's dead. You got to pick up his auto. Brian Vickers, and my favorite, Kurt Busch. And we get to baseball, which is the last sport in here. And there's some. I try to pick up autos of people I know, but I also pick up just cool signatures too. Since Jared Kelenic, people know Jared Kelenic. I've gotten lucky with 2 printing plates so far. My dad's really upset. He wants to find a printing plate pretty fucking bad and can't find one. Shane Bieber, he just made made an appearance and I think won the last game he was in, which was the ALCS, which is pretty neat. Sheldon Noisy, since I was on Oakland, I like playing on Oakland on the show, I got pretty used to seeing his name and made him a pretty big powerhouse. Obviously, he didn't turn out that way. Paul Skeens rookies, we have our inverses, which are neat. Starling Marte, DJ LeMahieu. And I've just been collecting over the last 2 months. This is a really interesting one. That's Russell Wilson's baseball card, Roman Chrome. Connor Siebold, to recognize that name. There's a lazy auto. Will Craig, another lazy auto. Connor Wong auto. We got a Jason Dominguez rookie. What else we got here? That's just a neat looking card. Randy Wells, I recognize him. JJ Porter, I recognize him. We got a Gabe Holt. This is a pretty fun auto. Lazy auto. Pretty cool card. Tim Lincecum rookies. I always liked Tim Lincecum. Can't lie. Nick Castellanos. That's funny. Rookies. Hot Dog Refractor, which I thought was hilarious. I did find a Aaron Judge Rubble Crew with insert, which I wanted. And there was also this one for $4, an Immaculate Hunter Renfroe, and it's got pretty nice patches to it. It was like $3. I'm like, dude, the box of Immaculate itself is close to what, $400? Why not? Screw it. Randy Johnson rookie. Got Burdick. I don't recognize the name. I think I just got it because it was tier 1, and that's a expensive box. Jason Kipnis, I recognized that name when I was a kid. Alex Wells, that was a lazy auto. Austin Allen, once again, I play a lot of the show, so I like being at the Athletics, and I recognize that name. Brandon Lowe, we got the hundreds. These are the newest cards right here. That's a very nice auto of Tavares. And then this is out of 50. That's out of 75, that's out of 50. These are all out of 100. And then this was a nice patch. I like having the pinstripe in there. So, those are my sports cards. I'm not too knowledgeable on every sport, but I do know enough, I like to think. I'll come back to this in a few months when I get more cards, and we'll see how the collection has grown from then. But until then, next is my Pokemon collection, which is even more interesting.